Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jordan with the Laundromat Resource podcast. This is show number 37, and I am pumped that you're here because this is the very first show of 2021. And I could not be more excited about this year. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. But in preparing for this podcast, I got to tell you that I just learned this last week. First of all, this last week had a ton of milestones for Laundromat Resource, but really for all of us. And one of the big ones that I am just blown away by, in all honesty, is there's a website called Listen Notes, and basically they compile data from the over 1.8 million podcasts that are out there. And Laundromat Resource, this little community of us who own laundromats or are thinking about owning a laundromat or want to own laundromats, we're in the top 3% of podcasts out there, which is just insanity to me. And I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys and to all the guests that we've had on the show up until this point, because it's all of us. I say this all the time, but this is a podcast by laundromat owners for laundromat owners. And this is something that all of us have done together and have created together. And it's been so much fun for me to be a part of it. I hope you've had a lot of fun with it too, but also I hope that you've learned a lot. I know that I have. I've grown a lot as a person and as a business owner, just from rubbing elbows with not just our incredible podcast guests that we had on, but also a lot of you guys through coaching calls, through emails that we've exchanged back and forth, through connecting on social media sites, all kinds of different ways that we've connected. And it's just been an awesome, it's only been like 7 months. I don't know how, since May. What is that? I don't know. 7 months maybe. And man, just crazy milestones have come and gone, have flown by. And it's just been a blast. And I thought that we would take this episode to just take a second to look back on the last 7 months and as I was going through preparing for this, I started listening to some of the old podcast episodes. First of all, I just got to say a huge thank you to you guys for hanging in there. Some of these podcast episodes, the audio is horrible. The video is horrible. There's just so much just cringeworthy technology, but the content is so good. It's like so good. And I know that's what's kept you guys in there, hanging in with the podcast and me, continuing to do the podcast. So it's been so cool, but thanks for hanging in with all the technical difficulties and, all my, weird mannerisms and, I don't know, vocal thing. I don't know. When you listen to yourself talk, it's just weird. But anyways, so cool. But I wanted to look back. As I started to go through and I was just kind of taking notes through all the different podcast episodes, I was kind of skimming through all of them, and these big themes started coming out. And I was like, this is crazy, because there's probably more than this, but there's 7 very distinct themes that just came up over and over and over again that I want to go through today. And I'm just going to play you clips and talk briefly about each of these 7 things in this episode, because I just feel like if the people that we've had on this podcast, if they keep talking about the same things, those are the things that we need to be paying attention to as a community, as people who own laundromats now, as people who want to own laundromats in the future, and to get the freedom that laundromats can bring in our lives, both financially and time freedom. So I just thought that was a cool thing for me to just kind of go back and listen to these podcast episodes again and to bring out some of the themes for us to go over today. So we're going to do that in just a second, but I also wanted to tell you that at the end, so stick around to the very end. At the end, I want to kind of look forward a little bit, because I have some huge plans, and I'm like so excited about 2021. for us as a Laundromat Resource community, and some of the things that are already in the works that I think are going to blow your mind. They're already blowing my mind just thinking about them. Oh my goodness. So I want to look forward a little bit with you guys at the very end. But before we get to that, let's take a quick second to just, it's a new year. It's a time to start fresh. It's a time to think about how we want to spend this year with our business, whether you are looking to buy your first laundromat or you already own a laundromat or multiple laundromats. It's a great time to think about, how do we want to move forward to help us achieve the goals that we want to achieve in this life? And I thought that these 7 things that kept coming out over and over and over again are things that are going to help get us there in 2021. So right after this, let's jump into these 7 big themes that came out in the first 7 months. I'm pretty sure it's 7 months. 7 things in 7 months from the Laundromat Resource podcast. Cannot wait to jump into them with you guys.
In today's world, if your laundromat is not online, you're losing business. Customers increasingly decide who to trust with their laundry by the quality of your web presence. But creating a professional logo and website that instills trust in potential customers and can be found on page 1 of Google can be difficult to create on your own and expensive to purchase through a traditional marketing company. As part of our mission to help laundromat owners succeed and find financial freedom through laundromat ownership, we are launching our done-for-you marketing service tailored specifically for laundromats. After ranking number 1 on Google with our own laundromat website and consulting with many others to help them do the same, we guarantee that we can build you a professional website that ranks on page 1 of Google within 6 months. Our joint expertise in the laundry industry and over 15 combined years in website design and online marketing allow us to offer affordable, transparent pricing for a high-quality web presence for your laundromats. You invest so much into providing your customers a quality laundry experience. Don't let anyone miss out on what you have to offer simply because they can't find you online. Let Laundromat Resource Marketing take care of your online presence so you can take care of your customers. Visit laundromatresource.com/getonline today for more information. That's laundromatresource.com/getonline or click on the link in the description.
All right, we're going to get into this in a second, but before we do, I have just a huge, exciting announcement that's coming up. If you're listening to this anytime within like a week and a half of when this comes out, then you need to know about this and you need to get on board. Some of you know that Dave, the Laundromat Millionaire Men's, and I have been doing live Q&As on Facebook, and this coming January 14th, 2021, Dave and I are doing another live Q&A on my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Laundromat Resource. If you haven't subscribed yet, head over there and subscribe, and then go subscribe to Dave's Laundromat Millionaire YouTube channel also. But we're doing a live Q&A, and this one is huge, and I'm super excited about it because we have a special guest coming on with us, and I cannot wait to have this guest on. It's going to be exciting, and it's somebody that you want to come and have a conversation with. Come ask your questions to. The person coming on with Dave and I was debating on whether I should tell you or not on here or just tease it, but I'm going to tell you because I'm so excited. I can't not tell you. But Brian Wallace, the president and I think CEO of the Coin Laundry Association, is going to come on with Dave and I to do live Q&A with you guys on my YouTube channel. So make sure you go to youtube.com/Laundromat Resource. I'll link to it in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, well, you're already here, but make sure you go there and you hit subscribe and you hit that bell because that will let you know when we go live. It's going to be January 14th, 2021 at 3 p.m. Pacific, Best Coast time, or 6 p.m. Eastern time. And make sure you're there, because you're going to want to be able to ask your questions to not just Dave and I, but also to Brian Wallace, again, the president and CEO of the Coin Laundry Association. I just wanted you to know that that's coming up and get excited about it. It's pretty cool. Feels like a super huge honor and cannot wait for it. So come join us. With that, have a good time. Our last live Q&A was incredible. So many of you guys joined us and a lot of veterans joined us. So not only were Dave and I answering questions, but a lot of you veterans were in the chats there answering questions alongside of us, and probably even some of them better than us. So it was really cool. Super awesome community feel. Loved every second of it. So come be a part of it this time. YouTube.com/Laundromat Resource. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little bell icon. That way it lets you know when we go live. Again, January 14th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Put it in your calendar and come join us. All right, let's talk about these 7 characteristics of successful laundromat owners. The first one is this: successful laundromat owners, and we saw this time and time again, successful laundromat owners are laser focused on their customers. I mean, obviously, we need customers in order to run our business, but the top performers, their focus and their goal is to create a great experience for their customers. And they do that in a lot of very creative ways. So take a listen to some of the things that past podcast guests had to say about how they think about their customers in this business.
It's all about value. And that's a big thing that I've learned in the business that I didn't always know, is that there's a big difference in price and value. And I refuse to compete on price. I always compete on value. Right. And I always make sure that I win. But I can charge significantly more than you if I provide a much higher level of service. And my value proposition is way higher than yours is.
And Dave said it on his, when he was on with you, that I want to compete on value, never on price. And yes. I posted it as soon as I was listening to it. I
saw that actually.
Because I was like, say it again for me.
Yes.
I like people to still see my face. Especially
face. So
I mean, it's important for my employees too. They can always reach me, but it's important that customers also see you with your employees, and that you're just not some invisible owner that drives their employees.
Right.
With me, I think it's all about FaceTime. Like, I know a lot of people say you can't go into major stores and see the owner.
Yeah.
But I think for small businesses, that FaceTime that you actually have with your customers means a lot to them, and showing them that you care. Like I have a thing on Saturdays and Sundays where I bring in donuts in the morning, and during the real peak times of Saturday and Sunday afternoons, I'll stop by, grab a couple pizzas, bring them so people can have something to eat while they wash clothes, and just interacting with the customers, knowing them by name and whatever. If some of them have like little shirts they making or other little projects they trying to sell, just, showing that patriotism back to them.
Make sure that, you're coming up with a plan for really engaging and acquiring and engaging your customers. It doesn't have to necessarily be an app. I mean, I think that obviously Startup is the best way that you can grow a delivery business. But any way that you can find that is going to, help you engage your customers and keep them coming back, because your recurring customers are your most valuable customers. That is probably the most important thing you can do.
We really try to see things through the eyes of our customers, right?
Yeah.
And I really like to try to put myself in the shoes of a young mother with like 2 kids, like maybe, 2 and 4, right? Mm-hmm. Right at the age where they're really mobile, but they don't listen.
Right. Yeah.
And I've got 70 pounds of laundry to do. Right.
Yep.
How easy or hard is it for me to do that at this location? Right. How do I feel when I walk in? Do I feel like a second-class citizen, or do I feel like this place really appreciates me?
Treat every single person that walks through that door with the utmost respect.
The secret sauce is customer service, and just provide a level of customer service that nobody's seen in this industry, and you'll be ahead of the game.
I think for right now, the tip is to keep your eye on your customers. They're the ones that pay the bills. Pay attention to them. See what they want.
So as you can see, taking care of your customers, providing them value, thinking about things through their eyes, so important to have success in this business. And, so many people get into this industry thinking about laundromats as a passive income, which it totally can be, but it's still a business and you're still dealing with customers. So you want to think about things through their eyes and make it a good experience for them. And we saw this time and time again from the top performers that we had on in 2020. So moving forward in 2021, think about the customer experience and how you can provide more value to your customers, because it's going to come back to you tenfold financially and, just in terms of giving back to your community and being a part of that community and the feeling that gives. It's just such a great feeling. So think about ways to give value to your customers in 2021 and improve that customer experience. Even if you're already top notch, we can always get better. So that was number one characteristic of successful laundromat owners that came out in the past 7 months. Number two is this: successful laundromat owners hire great employees and they take care of them. We heard over and over and over again things like quotes from Richard Branson that basically said, hey, take care of your employees and your employees are going to take care of your customers. Throwback to tip number one there. But it's just so important to have great employees and that you take care of them so you can keep those employees and keep them great. So listen to what some of the past podcast guests had to say about their employees.
This has been for me the most important thing, is take care of my employees. And what I mean by that, I'm sure a lot of people have heard the quote from Richard Branson that, if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers. And oh my gosh, that is so absolutely true. So I try and create a very employee-friendly environment as best that I'm able, within reason, obviously. I don't let them run around and do ridiculous stuff, but I want to compensate them well, and I want them to feel comfortable, and I want them to have ownership in the business itself. So
having the right people there is just so key. It's key to getting good reviews. The reviews on Yelp are key to getting business. The Google pages, the reviews are so key. So, and I feel like so many of the reviews are based on customer service. So, to me, getting the right people in there, and if someone's not right, it's hard to fire someone, but just you got to move forward and try to find that right person and that right team.
Probably staff is probably our biggest asset. Or competitive advantage.
Have you ever read the book Good to Great?
Yes, I've read. Yes.
That's the best business book there is. But do you ever remember when they talked about getting the right people on the bus?
Mm-hmm.
I read that. I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. That's the stupidest thing ever. And it makes so much sense now that I look back and I was like, that guy's a genius.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it doesn't make sense until you get the wrong one on the bus. And then you're like, oh, right. Or until you get the right one on the bus too.
Have you ever had an attendant that you can say she was the wrong one or he was the wrong one on the bus?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So looking ahead in 2021, let's think about how can we make sure that we have great employees on our staff, and then think of some creative ways that you can take care of your employees. Now, for some of us, that might mean making some tough decisions about our current employees. If you have an employee that is maybe toxic or maybe is just not putting forth a lot of effort, you might need to make some hard decisions, because we saw time and time again, the most successful operators that we heard in the past 7 months are ones that have great employees and that treat them well and take care of them and treat them like they're valued members of the business. And so if you have somebody on your team who is not a valued member of the business, it might be time for you to either step up your game in leading them. And, we heard multiple times over the last 7 months people say, hey, your employees are going to follow your lead. So if your employees are not great employees, might be good to first and foremost take a look in the mirror and make sure that you're setting a good example and that you're leading them well. But secondarily, if you've given them opportunities, you've tried to train them, you set a good example, and they're still not a great employee, might be time to let that employee go and bring on somebody else who's a better fit, who's going to take care of your customers. So again, tip number 2, that successful, or characteristic number 2 of successful laundromat owners is they hire great employees and they take good care of them. Characteristic number 3 of successful laundromat owners is that successful laundromat owners are relentless. And a lot of these guests that we've had, their kind of origin stories in the industry were tough. They had to scrap, they had to scrape, they had to, get creative, find ways to get financing, find ways to, work at their laundromats before or after their full-time jobs. I mean, all kinds of stuff that our guests have had to do. So relentless mindset it came up time and time again in the podcast. So here's a couple clips from that.
It probably took every bit of 4 or 5 months. And I bet I applied to easily 20 or more financial institutions. And every single one of them told me the same thing. And they just said, you've never owned a business before. You got $20,000 in the bank. And you think you're going to take this business that isn't profitable because it was losing money. Mm-hmm. I mean, who do you think you are is kind of the attitude that I got from them. He asked me, he was like, well, what are you going to do? And I said, Steve, if I have to apply to 1,000 banks, eventually somebody is going to say yes, because I'm not ever going to stop. Like I've decided this is what I'm going to do. I feel very confident. I'll be willing to do anything that is legal or ethical. Those are the only 2 lines I won't cross to be successful. It wasn't easy. I don't know how many people would have given up. I just knew that I wasn't going to.
Do your homework. I mean, you got to be hungry. I mean, as Les Brown would say, you got to be hungry. So that's one of my guys I always listen to anytime like I need to work harder. I always listen to Les Brown.
I feel so energized and pumped up when I hear stories about people who had to scrape and scrap and get creative and just kind of claw their way to success, or even claw their way to just being able to stand on their own 2 feet. So man, I don't know about you, but I'm pumped up, and I'm pumped up for 2021 to just be relentless in my businesses. And I hope you are too. Get that mindset. Don't think that this is going to be easy, even though it's a simple business, even though it can be relatively hands off. You got to still be relentless if you want to be successful. So that was characteristic number 3. Characteristic number 4 is successful laundromat owners never stop learning. And that is just a theme that came up almost every single episode. Here's a couple of clips about learning and continuing to learn.
Talk to as many people that in the industry as you can. And don't be afraid. Just learn everything you can from whoever you're buying it from, or if you're building it from. If you're building it from scratch, make sure you find a good distributor that answers the phone every time you call and always has the answer. If they don't have the answer, make sure they get the answer back to you in a reasonable amount of time.
I would say talk to as many people as you can. It's certainly something we did. There's plenty of folks that are tired of getting phone calls from me. Talk to other owners, other operators, anybody involved in the software side, the marketing side, anything like that. Talk to as many people as you can. You'll find the answer eventually.
Talk to as many people as you can in this industry. Go to the Coin Laundry Association, the CLA. Go to their website, get on their blogs. There's a lot of other sites on Facebook for laundry owners. Ask questions. You can never ask enough questions.
So if I'm looking to buy a mat and I'm interested in it, the first thing I would say is get involved in these forums, join the CLA, get involved in those forums, ask people. The response from people I found is extraordinary.
The more that you can network with other laundry owners,
you will develop a wealth of information.
Yeah.
And that can come through your equipment distributors, CLA. There's a number of ways that you can connect with other laundry owners because you'll start hearing a lot of their experiences, the things that have worked for them, things that haven't worked.
Yeah.
And you can learn an awful lot by just keeping your mouth shut and listening to what other people have to say.
So whether you are on the forums, whether you're on a Facebook group, whether you're connecting with other owners, you're on Coin Laundry, you're on Laundromat Resource, whatever you're doing, continue to learn in 2021. You've never got it all figured out. Even if you're at the top of the game, there's always more to learn, always more to grow. 2021, again, go back to that last characteristic of successful laundromat owners. And in your learning, in your pursuit of knowledge, be relentless in 2021. Continue to pursue growth and knowledge, and it's going to pay you back more than you can even imagine. So continue to do that in 2021. Okay, I don't even know. What are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, number 5. Characteristic number 5 of successful laundromat owners is they work with quality people. If you want to be the best, you got to work with the best. And so whether that's a partner that you're partnering with, maybe like Thomas Landenberger, who's got, a partner that's basically helping him run his laundromat in Florida while he lives in Italy, or whether that's partnering with distributors or brokers or just a business partner, whatever that partnership may be, the people that you're working with, you want to work with quality people. When you work with quality people, it ups your level ups their level, and it's just this spiral that goes right on up to successful laundromat ownership. Here's a couple of quotes on that.
It's a broker with integrity and somebody, by the way, that knows something about the laundry business. You can't find a broker that sells pet stores, groomers. I don't believe. I think you need to find somebody that specializes in the laundry industry and has owned perhaps and operated one and knows how to read a balance sheet. Yeah. And to somebody that can really give you good advice.
Distributor. Interview distributors. Act like you're interviewing somebody to be your partner. Go in there and really make sure you like the person that is selling to you. You feel like they're telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Make sure they have the capability to help you if you need it.
I had really good relationship with the distributor. So I think what your key number one thing you need to do is get a working relationship with a distributor that you feel comfortable with. You like the machines.
I would say get some good partners. I was fortunate to have, like I mentioned earlier, a bunch of different partners with a bunch of different backgrounds, all able to kind of take the load when needed. So that doesn't have to be, partners in ownership of the business, but like it is in my case. But even, we mentioned Nick at Startup. There's a local laundromat owner, Roy, here in town, who helps us a ton. Get a good team of people that all know what they're talking about and know what they're doing and have very different skill sets and use them to help leverage your skill sets.
Get with the distributor. And I mean this. I know that you had a bad experience from a broker, and I don't know much about brokers, but I do know something about distributors. Distributors want to make money just like you do. But the difference is the distributor, they will run your demographics for you. They'll do all the front end work for you.
As someone who got into this industry working with people who weren't as quality and hearing the stories of the people who started out working with quality people and just the difference between their experience in the early years and mine, I can just vouch and say, hey, you know what? You want to work with quality people, whether that's a distributor or a broker or a partner or a consultant or whatever the case may be, find quality people, do business with them, because they're going to pay you back in their wisdom, in their experience, in their connections, far more than you end up paying them. And it's going to pay off for both of you in the long run. So work with quality people. That is the 5th characteristic of successful laundromat owners. Number 6 characteristic of successful laundromat owners is, and this one's kind of a little bit different, but it came up so much I had to include it, is you need to have a quality web presence and brand for your laundromat in order to be successful. And it came up like kind of all throughout. I was kind of surprised actually how often that came up. So here's a couple of quotes from podcast guests on having a quality web presence for your laundromat.
That it became very clear to me that we needed a website. And not just a website that you build on your own, because there's so many that you can build on your own. I knew we needed a company that knew what they were doing to do it.
Being branded helps. I will tell you that if you have multiple stores or if you just have one, having a brand does help. I know that's not been a strength of our industry. As you know, Jordan, I'm sure.
The secret sauce is the website. That is the number one marketing tool. And you want your website to be the centerpiece of all of your marketing. So for example, and to make your website work better, you want more other websites, different websites pointing to it, such as Yelp and Google My Business.
Something I learned from the music industry was brand recognition. For people to want to listen to your music, you got to have a good logo. It looks good. The names got to roll off the tongue. It's all aesthetic, because that just, they want to come to you if it looks good. Mm-hmm. So something really interesting when we came into the laundromat business, when we were scoping out laundromats, you know what everyone's name is up here?
What's that?
Laundromat.
Yeah.
They're all just laundromat. That's like if I was making music and my name was Music.
Yeah, musician.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's so odd. Well, why? So we got a logo. I got on our shirt.
There it is, all about laundry.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it's really brand recognition. You're establishing, no, we're not just a laundromat. We're different. We are something else. This is a professional relationship that we have with you. We want you to be coming back.
Of course, everything's online today. Everything from ordering food to even like getting a ride or just ordering Christmas presents on Amazon. I mean, everything is online. So if your laundromat is not online, first of all, you need to get online. But second of all, when you look around in the industry, man, I don't know if you've been on too many laundromat sites, and I don't want you to feel bad if this is you, but I want you to say, hey, maybe 2021 is the time to get this fixed. But if you have a website that's dated, you need to get that updated, and you need to get, just bring it into 2021, because so many of your customers, their first experience with you or your could-be customers, their first experience with you is through your web presence in your website. And if it's dated, if it looks old, or if you're not there, they're going to move on to the next one. And I loved that David and Donna Stark, who've been in the industry for 40 plus years, they stressed the importance of a quality website and a quality web presence. So man, if if you're looking at your business, if you're looking at your website and you realize, hey, it might be time for an update, 2021 is your year. Get it done sooner rather than later, because you could be missing out on customers who are passing up your dated website for the next laundromat over who has a slightly more upgraded website. And the bar is not that high in our industry. So, get it done. And if you need help with it, we have a video that I'll link that will teach you to build a website yourself. John, my brother from Laundromat Resource Marketing, who builds all our websites that we put together for laundromat owners. He and I put together this little course that will teach you to build a website. And of course, obviously, we will also build you a website at laundromatresource.com/getonline if you're interested in that. But it doesn't have to be with us. It can be with another company. It can be yourself. Just make sure you have a quality website for your business, because it's really going to up your success. And we saw it come up time and time again from successful owners on the podcast. So make sure you're doing that. Okay. The number 7 characteristic of successful laundromat owners that came up multiple times that I think has been a weakness in our industry, but needs to become one of your strengths to take you to the next level is successful laundromat owners have their eye on the future. Take a listen to a couple of these quotes.
Technology is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit that you guys, anyone can get involved with. Okay. I mean, I don't know what else I can tell you about the fact that being able to know what you did today or what you did last week or what you did a year ago and at a snap of a finger to help you forecast what you're going to do or what your goals are. I can't imagine not doing.
But really the secret sauce is understanding, thinking ahead. Okay. Thinking what could be. For those owners right now that are complacent in their existing locations, okay, you have to be thinking about upgrading, all right, especially if you have a 1,500 square foot facility and, there's not much around you, somebody may come in and take you out, right? So even though you're doing great right now in the locations that you're in, always thinking ahead and having, your sales reps, your distributor partners working with you, folks like Jordan, like myself in the business, talk to us, talk to others, talk to your peers on the CLA forums, talk to the individuals that are in the business right now, see what they're seeing, listen to what they're talking about. That's the secret sauce, Jordan, trying to stay that one step ahead because somebody out there is trying to put you out of business right now, right? Or thinking how they can, or a distributor that's not in a particular territory right now is saying, I'd love to get in here, right? Let's find an entrepreneur to come in and put this in. So the secret sauce is, again, not being complacent, thinking about the things that post-COVID are certainly extremely important to customers.
It can be so easy to get complacent. This business doesn't change that quickly. And you can just get in your routine where you're collecting coins, you're making sure your machines are good, you're checking in on your employees, and you're getting the cash flow, and things can get very complacent. But I will tell you that zombie laundromats are a thing for a reason. And that reason is that those owners did not have their eye on the future. They didn't have a plan for moving forward as a business, and their laundromats deteriorated. There's a lot of R's in that. Deteriorated because they did not have their eyes on the future. And I think 2020 proved to be a huge year where that lesson has been learned by a lot of different industries. And fortunately for us, our industry wasn't hit as hard as some, but that's not to say that that can't happen to us too. And things are beginning to change quicker in our industry, probably at a quicker pace than this industry has ever seen since the washing machine was invented, where card systems are a thing now. People are starting to connect smart devices up all over their laundromats, from their coin machines to camera systems and speakers, those kinds of things. Just different payment systems are coming into effect. There's a lot of technology coming down the pipe right now, different ways of getting data and reporting. So just have your eye on the future and, join the ranks of the successful laundromat owners if you're not there already. So those are the 7 big themes that I saw show up time and time again over the past 7 months. I'd love to hear if you saw any other themes that came up that maybe I missed. So if you're on YouTube, hey, leave a comment down below. If you are listening to this on the podcast, head over to laundromatresource.com/show37. Leave a comment on that page and tell me what themes you saw come up and maybe that I missed, and I'll bring it up in the next episode. But it was awesome for me to go back through, listen to all of these podcast episodes, as cringeworthy as it was to listen to myself, especially some of those earlier, middle, and later episodes. Man, just hearing these guests and all their wisdom, it just got me fired up for this podcast. It got me fired up to be a part of this community. I hope you're fired up to be a part of this community. And I cannot wait again to see what 2021 is going to bring. And I mentioned in the very beginning, there's some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. So I want you to be a part of all of that that's coming down the pipeline. So make sure that you are staying in touch with us. Subscribe to this podcast or to this YouTube channel, because you're not going to want to miss what's coming down 2020. Let's look ahead over the next couple of weeks and see what is coming down the pipeline and get excited for it, because I'm so excited. All right, this is Jordan for the Laundromat Resource Podcast. We will see you guys again next week. Happy 2021. Let's make it happen. Peace.